Hey spooky friends, we're on day 19 of our 31 Days of Horror Movie Villains, and today we're talking about the legendary Candyman. Candyman is portrayed by the late great Tony Todd. He's a very interesting character with a tragic backstory. He was once human and his name was Daniel Robitaille. He was the son of two slaves and he was born in 1865. He was a very prominent artist, and so people would hire him, a lot of rich white people would hire him to paint them, and one day this man hired him to paint his daughter Caroline. Caroline and him developed a romantic relationship and she became pregnant. Unfortunately, her father found out, so a group of people came, grabbed Daniel, tortured him, cut off his hand, replaced it with the hook, covered his body in honey. One of the children that was there tasted the honey and just started calling him Candyman, and a bunch of people were mocking him. A bunch of bees came and stung him all over, and the father showed him a mirror and said, "Look, my daughter would never look at you now." And as Daniel was staring into the mirror, his final words were, "Candyman. His soul has been trapped in the mirror." Thus became the legend of Candyman. It's kind of like Bloody Mary, where you stare in the mirror, you say his name 5 times, and he'll appear. Candyman became this legend, this myth, and we find out that his death was in the same spot of Cabrini Green. Cabrini Green is a section of Chicago that's kind of been segregated. It is a low-income community that's basically been segregated from the rest of the city. The first movie, we're introduced to Helen. She is a woman that's writing like a thesis on urban legends, and her friend are kind of doing some research on Candyman. There's been several different events that happen in Cabrini Green where she goes to start talking to people. Like one woman was attacked, someone came through the bathroom mirror. Helen is not like a believer of these urban legends, so she says Candyman 5 times in the mirror, and she's not immediately visited by Candyman. Later though, she is confronted. He lets her know that he wants to make her a believer. He starts using different things to kind of start framing her for different crimes. For instance, she passes out and she wakes up in a woman's apartment. There's blood everywhere and her baby is missing, and so people are blaming her for this. Later on, she's trying to convince her best friend that she's not crazy, that Candyman is real, and Candyman appears and he unalives her friend, and then she obviously gets framed for the murder. She gets taken to an insane asylum. She's in the insane asylum. Candyman appears to her and is trying to like convince her to join him, to become a myth, a legend herself. There's some very romantic, sensual vibes between the two, so you kind of see him viewing her as kind of a placeholder for Caroline. He unalives the psychiatrist, frees her from her restraint, so she runs back to her partner's apartment, but hey, guess what? He's already moved on to another woman. So having nowhere else to go, she goes back to Cabrini Green and she encounters Candyman again, and they share a kiss where he's covered in bees and she's covered in bees. And later she finds out that he taken that baby and put it in this pile of like garbage that's going to turn into a bonfire, goes into the pile, and some kids think that they saw Candyman in the pile of trash, so they light the pile of trash on fire while she's inside. She saves the baby, but she dies from her burns. In other Candyman installments, we get more of his backstory and more of his like family lineage. In the 2021 reboot, we see this young man who is being plagued by Candyman, and we learn that he's actually the baby that Helen saved from the bonfire. Candyman's legend continues to live on, and it seems like different people throughout history have kind of been labeled as Candyman. Tony Todd plays his character wonderfully, and like he's truly a victim himself. Candyman really represents that racial segregation, racial injustices that have plagued our country. Tony Todd plays this character so well. Candyman is a very interesting character.